did it.
Would make a motion that we open the October meeting of the Southampton Village Planning Board.
I second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, our October meeting is now underway, and the agenda starts with a request for an extension on the matter that we took up last year, as I recollect, dealing with a change of a lot line down by the beach. In the Murray Place, Crawford and Sullivan have filed a request to us for a lot line, that was for a lot line modification. And it was in August of a year ago, so it's 14 months ago. And they would like to extend it while they deal with health service. I will entertain a motion that we extend it unless someone has a problem with that. Is anyone in this audience interested in our non-extended out at the beach? Okay, we wanted to...
Just one comment, Chairman. I don't see a request for when to extend it to. I'm not sure if Mr. Flanagan could give us any insight into that, when you would like this
Building
extended
department
to.
said 1 year on their...
Is it 1 year? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's customary. It's my partner's
Okay.
case, but
Yeah.
she's waiting for the guest talk health department.
Yes, that's appropriate. It's fine.
She said 1 year on our
That's
agenda,
fine.
and I assumed it was for up to 1 year.
That makes sense.
All right, so Alan, since I guess this expired in August,
Unfortunately, I don't have the,
so a motion to extend it to the regular meeting of August 2019. And I'll draft up a written
For a year
resolution.
from our
Well,
meeting, which
but
was...
apparently it expired in August, so a year would be not September, but next August. So to and including the regular meeting of August 2019. Hopefully by then they'll have health department.
we'll probably have it in a couple of weeks, but I never say that.
Well, this modification is only good for a year?
Correct, but we want a specific date, so say to and
It was good
including,
until this past August.
right,
Now we're a month later.
right. So to and including the regular meeting in August of
August 19.
2019.
Is that satisfactory, everybody?
Yes,
So moved.
yes,
Seconded?
yes, second.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. The next matter is for East End Holdings on Job's Lane, and we've had a request in the past couple of days. I believe there's a letter here dated the 25th, so it was last Thursday, roughly, asking us to extend it until the 29th of October from counsel for the applicant. We can extend it by a vote, but for the moment, since there seems to be great interest in what we're doing, would anyone here like to speak to whether we should extend it or not, which we're otherwise inclined to do? Sir?
I don't want to say, you have to go to the microphone, please.
If you could, we could make everything a record.
Excuse me, I'm here not to talk about extending it, but to talk about the project. So I don't know if the floor is open for public comment.
Well, as a public comment, I don't believe we can tell you not to. You've got something briefly. We'll get to the matter as formally as we can in a month. But if you'd like to speak for a minute, information is what we need.
Wonderful. Great. So my name is Morley Quattrochi. I own the Morley Agency here in town, Morley Property Management as well. Part of my business, I specialize in managing commercial properties for landlords. So there are at least 24 tenants on Job's Lane that I'm responsible for. There are another 13 on Main Street. I know this property very well. I've been the broker, exclusive broker for the last 15 years, doing the main leasing in this courtyard. And I feel a couple things I'd just like to say. Number one, I'm a lifelong resident of Southampton Village, so me speaking here is from a business standpoint, but also from a local person who grew up here, knows the village very well, and cares about what happens in the village. The one thing that sprung up in this courtyard was the term pop-up, which came into fashion in 2008, 2009, when the financial world had some significant problems. So I did some research Of the 6 retail shops at 38 to 42 Jobs Lane, I wrote 36 seasonal or pop-up leases from 2008 through 2018. Some years I didn't write any, such as this year. 2018, I had 4 spaces available with the Morley signs in the window and did 1 pop-up lease for a 30-day period at August to Labor Day. A significant factor of the pop-ups is that if you talk to any year-round tenant, and I have, like I said, many year-round tenants that I deal with, the pop-ups hurt the year-round businesses. The year-round business has to pay rent 12 months. The pop-up comes in for a quick hit. They pay a seasonal rent up front, and they leave at Labor Day and leave the store vacant until the next season. So I am in favor of the project, the redevelopment of 38 to 42 Jobs Lane, because it will, by building 2 buildings side by side with 3 tenants on the ground floor, 3 on the second floor, it's going to probably be the same as 53 Jobs Lane, which was the old Folk and Folk building. That was redeveloped, and
That's the one down across the street.
down across the street, 4 tenants that are in there, pretty stable leasing. So I think the same thing will happen at 38 to 42 Jobs Lane. As far as the outcry of an iconic courtyard, certainly there's no historical significance to that courtyard. If you look at it closely, it's falling apart and falling down, and I really think that by building these 2 buildings, we're going to do the same thing we did at the Folk and Folk building, same thing that went on recently with Morris Studio at 72 Jobs Lane. That was redeveloped, so now we have an apartment and a retail store. Around the corner on Hampton Road, Citarella, Starbucks, those things have done very good things for the village. So I just think that this project will, if anything, will increase property values for the neighbors. I wrote 2 letters to this committee, one on behalf of myself and my feelings, the other on behalf of the old Shep Miller building, 2 to 18 Jobs Lane. I've managed that building since 1991. And the owners there spoke with all 4 of the owners who think that the redevelopment of 38 to 42 Jobs Lane will help property values and help the value of their buildings. So I'm here to say that I'm in favor of the project, and I welcome any questions that you have.
Any question?
No, I just wanted, I'm writing notes down. It was 38 different leases?
36 seasonal pop-up leases. So, for instance, Gildor, who's been in the Butchery space for years, is a very, very good shoe store. We did a pop-up to Sam Edelman right on the street. Okay, Sam Edelman Shoes. Talked to the owner of Gildor, and he was very disappointed that pop-up came because it significantly hurt his business. So, that's just one example of what that type of short-term leases does to the village in general.
Okay, anything else?
No, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I have an ancient conflict of interest in that Morley Senior was my advisor for decades.
Okay, yes.
Is he still well? I don't see him at the golf course.
No, he's not at the golf course, but he's okay. He's in his home, and he's very comfortable.
Give him my best.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other things? Okay, if there anybody else with a comment? If not, I'll entertain. Oh, please do.
Just that I was heard that the meeting, it's Susan Madonia from
Susan
Amadonia
Madonia.
Antiques. I just want to say, being right next to the courtyard, that the courtyard was very vibrant, and that there was always somebody in the back. It was Stubbs and Wooten for a while. They were very happy there. And Shannon from Sea Green was very happy there. She did not want to move. Both the shops in the front have always been rented. They have had many art openings and many events. The courtyard is always filled with people, so many people strolling up and down. It was a very vibrant, successful courtyard until recently, when it has slowly been emptied. So I don't think you can say that these are unused pop-up stores. It's only been in the last 2 years, the ones on the side, but for most part, the courtyard has been very vibrant, so I do not think you can compare it to that. So number one, I've been right next door for a long time, and I think the courtyard should be revived and not completely destroyed, demolitioned, which I think is a shame in the historic district to do something like this, when this board should really be going and working with the historic preservation and the ARB. I don't understand how the planning board can sit there after you've had so many petitions of the residents loving the courtyard. Why is it that you're not for the residents? Why is it?
Question for us?
Yes, why is it that you're not for the people who pay taxes in this village, who care about the historic? It's 1661. It's one of the oldest villages and shopping districts where people like to come and walk, and you're putting up a new shopping area that you can find in a mall.
Thank you.
No, and it's not. You cannot compare it to the Falk and Falk building. You know why? Because the Falk and Falk building was the exact same complex that it replaced, but it was just more beautiful. We never had a Falk and Falk building in that spot. Do you know what was in that spot? A smaller 2-story building with open space and trees. You cannot say that the Falk and Falk building works there. This project, this proposed project, does not fit. It's causing a terrible impact to the village historically. It does not work with what's there. You should not be combining these 3 lots because you should not be amassing such a big structure on a historic street where there was open space. And do you know the reason why they did that courtyard? Was because there was open space there. And this is creating terrible hardship. And the problem about pop-up stores in the community, the pop-ups now are on Main Street. What are you going to do? What if this big store, which is irreversible, no one rents it? You're taking away trees and garden space. So I think that if people were going to speak tonight, I have a lot more people that were going to come and speak tonight on this, but we heard it was going to be adjourned. So I'd just like to defend all the citizens to save the village of Southampton, and we're up to about 3,500 now, that really care. And we really hope that this project could be reconsidered to be more in keeping with that side of the street and with the neighbors and with the people that love to come to Southampton to shop here. And thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We are adjourning this for the next month when we expect we will get many comments on both sides of what has been proposed here for some time and presents many issues for the village, some of which are settled and some which people want to change, and we will entertain every view that people want to give us, just in case there are some that have been overlooked and are, shall we say, a proper imposition by the trustees of the village through us over the private property rights of all people on either side of this and people that are retailers in the business district. That's our area. We will deal with it as best we can with all the requirements that are written down in the law, which we've told you. We will deal with the ones that deal with those that are not in the law that pertain to us. There are 2 other boards that will review this for other standards that pertain when citizens of the village impose their standards on their neighbors. That's the business we're in. But thank you for your comments. Thank you, both of you. This is premature, but we have to extend it so we can get a full position from everybody. From people that come there, people that work there, people that shop there. Information's good for us. I'm not sure everyone stops. So we will do so.
Yes. Did you just say that I was imposing something on the neighbor?
No.
What did you just say to me?
I didn't say to you anything. I said what we are doing. Excuse me. Susan, I never said anything to you.
Because I have a lot of hardship with this new project.
I understand. You've told us that, and we know that. We're listening as carefully as can to everything that's said.
And I'd like this developer to be happy, and I want the best for him.
We've listened to
And I
everything
never,
you've said.
ever came to any of these meetings. I let you go ahead and watch this development for a whole year, and I trusted you. I don't understand why we can't have a development that is cohesive with me as a neighbor who've been there for so long. This building causes me so much hardship. Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The lot line, is it coming closer? He's building on the lot line. Is that what I understand? Maybe you could explain to me what's happening.
If he builds on the lot line,
Is he building on the lot line?
I believe he is, ma'am. But I don't have the plans in front of me right now, but that's...
Didn't they have someone come in
Yeah,
and say that it would not be any closer to this
that's right.
building?
We're delighted to hear all of your comments, and we're listening to
Well,
everyone.
I wish that were true. I wish that were true.
Please
because
bring us
let me just
evidence
tell you,
if it's not true. Please bring us the evidence.
well,
please.
because I like to ask you, where exactly is he coming closer to the building? Because if you look on the plans, his building is going to be built on the lot line. And if he builds that building on the lot line, I will not be able to go in between the two buildings to fix my siding, to fix my windows, to fix any gutter issues. I'll have to close up my whole building.
Then please bring us the evidence.
No, you can, I'm asking you, where exactly is he going to be building on the lot line?
Why don't we give Gil a chance, because we asked him many
This is,
things.
we're not, can we deal with this in a month with evidence? I understand everything you say. We'll assume it's absolutely true, but if we
I
have
just
evidence
wanna hear,
if we have
so you're-
evidence that conflicts, that's our job to deal with it. So please come in a
But
month
you do
and give us
realize the
evidence.
hardships that you put against me.
We have listened to it very carefully, and your complaint that it's hardship, and we understand
I
that's
think
how
I'm
you
going to
feel.
have Mr. Morley maybe rent my building. Maybe I might need him.
We've been...
Because I am very upset.
We get information here that we try to respond to that concerns the village. We've had information that people in the neighborhood want to sell their buildings, people want to rent
I
buildings.
think I might have to sell my building.
Well, then,
Not that I want to.
but that's not our business. If you do, I wish
If
you
you want to
luck.
talk about pop-up shops, it's a serious thing for the whole village to look into what's happening to the village, because there are pop-up shops, and they're all over the place. And this project has nothing to do with the pop-up shops being coming up more in the village.
We thank you for your opinion, and that's a different opinion than others. We collect every opinion we can to make a responsible
No, I
decision.
just wanted to say that I thought you said that I was making it hard for my neighbor, and
No.
I shouldn't be telling him what to do.
We never said anything of the type. We talked about our duties. All we can do is the duties that the law says we're supposed to do, and that's what
Well,
we're
there
trying
are
to do.
historic laws, and there is historic laws that have to be,
Good.
it has to
We
fit
know that.
in between. And okay,
We're
thank
not in
you.
charge of the history, but so we'll get that done. There are people that are. That's their burden to serve. Those who are willing to serve have to do it, and they will.
From what I was told, that the ARB should have been in compliance and should have been looking at this project with the ARB and with the zoning board, but you took it on lead agency because Curtis Highsmith, who was chair of the Architecture Review Board on time, never got back to you. And it's very important that the ARB work with you now.
in front of me, but it was...
I don't think you could even think about passing this project until the ARB and the Historical Preservation look through this.
They will. We can do, we do our part of the law, they will do theirs, is what I'm told.
But you should be
everyone who's
working
involved.
together.
Tell them.
No, I'm going to tell you. And
we're
Bo,
always-
don't
we're
you think you
always
should be
available
working with
to-
the ARB all together? This is Job's Lane, 1661, the oldest lane in the country. Shouldn't you be working with the Preservation Society or Preservation Committee or the ARB together?
Susan, I'm not the board.
You're the lawyer.
I am a lawyer, but I'm not here to answer legal questions for the ARB. I'm here tonight representing the planning board.
Well, let me just ask you, was Curtis Highsmith contacted about the ARB working on this project?
Yeah, I believe we sent notice to all agencies.
And Curtis Highsmith never got back to you?
All agencies were able to tell us if they wanted to be the lead agency on an environmental review. They can tell us if they want to have joint meetings, I suspect. They never have. We have lots of projects.
Well, how about if we could
Excuse me.
start now? Maybe we could start now with the ARB.
May I finish my sentence, please, Susan? I know you're upset. nice to listen to. We're listening to every word you say. There are many times that one board or another has a matter that comes before that affects a number of jurisdictions of the village. There are 5 things that we're involved with. There are things that the Planning Commission get involved with. There are things that the ARB gets involved with. There are things that the Zoning Board get involved with. If we all could meet all the time on everyone, maybe that would be a good outcome.
I think it's very important now that you talk to the ARB on this project. Can I ask that of you, Chairman McFarland? Can I ask you to work with the ARB on this project?
Thank you.
So I can say that you and Sue Stevenson will collaborate on this project together? Why not?
Because it's her decision.
If she decides yes, would you consider it?
And that board has been notified of this matter. They can do it anytime they want.
All right, so if we ask Sue Stevenson, or who asked Sue Stevenson, the chair, if she would get involved with this project?
Susan, it's not the position of this board to respond like that from request of a concerned person in an application.
Well, then who can tell me?
Excuse me. If you have an issue that you want to take up with the ARB, address the ARB.
Exactly.
The Board of Appeals will also be involved in this,
Well,
and
what
you
I
haven't mentioned that tonight.
What I understood is that you should be working together with the ARB. Is
Well,
that right?
how did you understand that?
Well, because it's in the law.
What law?
It's in the law.
What section?
That the ARB and the planning board should work together.
ARB will receive this application in due course.
No, but it should be worked on now.
Well, then tell me the section of the law to which you're referring.
I will. There's a letter we can send out to Sue Stevenson.
You don't send it to Susan
can...
Stevenson, you send it to the entire board.
Okay, we'll do that, because isn't it funny that the whole ARB board did not answer? This is a very important project for Job's Lane, for the whole village. And I think the ARB should work with you, Mr. Chairman. So can we look into this?
You're free to make any motion.
Is that a yes?
No. We are not free.
Why not?
Because we don't have the power to impose what we're able to do by law willy-nilly on anyone who asks us to do so, even if they're very upset. Even
All right,
if
so
what if someone wants to come...
Will you reach out to the ARB?
Excuse me, what if someone wants to come and says the history is important and they would like to build on Job's Lane, the history you keep citing? I love your facts. You're wonderful. It's a great argument.
But can
what
I
if
just
they want
ask
to
you
build all
something?
the
Will you
automobile
reach out to
repair
Sue
shops that were there
Stevenson?
200
Will you
years
reach
ago?
out to the ARB now?
Susan, it's not the province of this board to do that. If you want the ARB involved, or the Board of Appeals, it's up to you to make that overture.
Well, thank you. I will.
Well,
thank you.
that's
Thank you
a
very much.
that's a
And I
correct
hope that you will
procedure.
work
And
with
they
them.
were
Thank you.
and by the way, they were notified of this.
But they never answered.
Well, I can't
Which
make
is a
them
shame.
answer. Maybe it is a
But
shame.
Curtis Highsmith is no longer the chair, so
well,
maybe
that-
Sue Stevenson will, because this is a very important decision.
They were notified of everything, and the record shows they got
Okay,
notice
we will
of
be in
the
touch.
whole
Thank
matter.
you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we want to ask Mr. Flanagan to go over anything?
Would anyone else like to speak on this matter at this time, or wait another month?
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, members of the board, I did request that this matter be adjourned for all purposes. Therefore, I was not prepared to present any additional information to you. We're under advisement, certain of the issues that this board asked us to look into. We're looking into them actively.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Want to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, at the request of the applicant, I move that this hearing for Easton Holding be adjourned to the
To and including the regular meeting in
regular
November.
meeting in
November.
The regular meeting.
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's
Aye.
adjourned for a month. Okay. Then, Kathy, we have the Cooper's Neck tennis court, which you worked on, and they were dealing with drainage access.
Yes. Well, we requested that a number of items be addressed on the site plan, which they have been, and therefore we're recommending an approval of this tennis court.
They
And
dealt with the
They dealt with all the
Excess.
questions that we had, yep.
Okay, thank you. So we have a, where's it? Here it is, right here.
File, Pam?
Pardon me?
The original should be in there,
In the file?
in the file, but you
This
will
is,
have
I
a
have a
copy.
copy here.
Yeah, I also.
Yeah, we have a copy here.
I think it's there, popped up. Pam,
And then
where the
sticking up in the
pop-up
back,
is, got
second,
posted
right
on
there,
it.
right, that one. in front should be an approval. Okay. We can have a motion that we approve it. If anyone has any discussion? Any complaints?
Or what I'm making a motion, the tennis court.
This is the Cooper's Neck sunken tennis court, and the only issue that last time we met was the drainage ponds. They wanted to make sure there was some access to them should they ever flood.
I make a motion to approve the decision regarding the 65 Cooper's Neck Lane tennis court.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay, if we've got the form there, Pam, I will sign it. Well, thank you.
These are the original copies, yes?
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
necessarily.
That should mean that.
That goes in the file. Okay, the next matter is the
This is important.
Wyman, what I call FHW, lot lines and access approval.
In the folder is a written decision approving the lot line modification as submitted, and the affirmative vote on the motion will be to approve the application.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the decision to modify the lot line for FHW Limited Partnership.
seconded? I'm in favor of modifying the lot lines.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So who's it?
That we have the.
You have them.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay. Then we have still an adjournment on Beechwood Latch and on John Danielson. We're adjourned. Now, Bo, that was something you contacted there now before the ZBA?
Contacted him, and then he's come back and said he's got further submissions. So that he said it was related to me that he's making an application to the Board of Appeals, so we'll monitor that and
Okay.
track that.
It's going to them before he comes back to us.
He would need to go and get approval from the Board of Appeals and then come back to the Planning Board.
Okay. So with us, it's on hold. If he doesn't make an application there,
I'll monitor this,
then he has
and
to start.
if we don't see any
The
activity.
fair thing is to start over.
Well, he's going to have to start over again here because this is stale, so we'd have to renotice and re-advertise.
Okay. Okay. Then we have another adjournment for Hampton's HTA, which is, Kathy, that's McDonald's, right?
No, that's the North Sea Road, 116 North Sea
corner.
Road, the corner.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the
square.
corner.
So it's a
Yeah.
request for an adjournment at the applicant's request.
Okay, and that's,
Make that-
council's here for it, so we will entertain a motion.
Yep, Roy, to and including the November regular meeting. That includes the work session.
Make a motion at the request of the applicant to adjourn Hampton's HDA LLC through to the November
Regular meeting.
Yeah, that's the November 5th meeting. Okay, seconded?
Yeah, I second it.
I vote in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye.
All in favor of that adjournment. Then, the next one is McDonald's, where Kathy, having started with us, they're now in front of the ZBA, I guess, on
Yep, so we're
issues.
waiting until that's resolved.
So we have to wait for them. We don't have much of real substance to do we?
There are a number of engineering comments that they have to deal with.
Yeah, okay.
But at this point, I think they want to get the zoning board
So
first.
through NPV, we get a review of the,
And then we'll see what they come up with their revised plans. Yep.
okay. Okay, we have December, we get to, you want to discuss now moving the year-end session to January 7th? Deal with the holidays? This is our practice one. Roy, you did this for years to move it
Well,
along.
Mr. Chairman, I just think it's it's short-sighted to move the meeting from December 31st, which is New Year's Eve. I think we should all stay here until midnight and pop the cork and celebrate.
Historical precedent? I thought you moved it a couple of times. All
I
right,
go to bed at 9 o'clock on New Year's Eve.
we'll have a short session.
I withdraw my complaint then.
Okay. Well, if the 7 works, I don't have the calendar in front of me. But I guess we would, should we do that now?
Yeah, do it now.
I think?
Yeah,
Do it now.
All right. I'll make a motion that we prospectively take the year, what would otherwise be the year-end Monday, year-end Monday work session of the 31st, and move it and combine it with the public hearing on the 7th of January. Anyone care to second that move of the schedule?
I'll second it.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the calendar, the village calendar will show that move to the 7th. Now we have minutes for August 27th, September 4th, and September 24th.
I did receive the August 27th one, then it's all taken care of.
Okay, so those, have we approved those?
Not yet. You haven't approved, I received your edits, is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
okay. So those were done.
Yep.
Now, are we going to get them, get to look at a meeting from Jackie and say we approve them?
I'm sorry,
Physically?
Karen,
We're going to approve them physically, because we maybe get a copy to be handed out to us.
yeah, I
Good.
did it, that's fine.
So that they're with her.
No, you have to motion to approve them. She has an unapproved version. So once you approve them, then they'll be approved.
Yeah. That was my question. To approve them, I edited them. I guess everybody's sort of seen them and signed off on them. The question is, should we do it physically or just by, hey, you saw it on your computer? Because there are times,
It's your call, you determine whatever you'd like.
well, I have a personal preference, which is, I guess, physical, because I like to look at them other than make sure everybody's seen them on the computer. And I'll talk to Jackie. I visited with her twice last week and this week. And I had a long session with the building department. I looked at minutes going back to the 1930s for this board. I looked, because the village adopted building regulations a long time ago, before zoning. We were doing zoning in 72. And I looked at those minutes, and so I think it'd be nice to have the minutes with your diligent labor finally get reviewed by us to say, yep, they're fine, and we approve them that way. As opposed to, there's one here, the one there, somebody's out of
We're gonna hold
town.
on to that.
So I will talk to Jackie early tomorrow before I leave town for a few days.
Okay, yeah.
Is that all right with the
Yeah.
rest? Is that okay with you, Pam?
That is okay.
Is that all right with you?
That's fine.
Okay, so we will, Kathy, do you think that makes no sense? Is that all right with you?
That's fine, and then actually the board could consider adopting them at the work session.
Yeah. When we get together, as long as we
In front of
have
them.
the people that are there to approve them. Okay, and that'll be on the, next one will be on, right before Halloween. Okay. Therefore, if any other matters among the members of this board,
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
So moved.
Want a second? Good.
Second. Aye.
I'm in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're finished. Thank you all.